Okay, so we're going to take a peek at basically these 2 pages of notes. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to take notes, but really quickly, I want to just lay this out so you guys can see it. All right, so the very first thing that I've got here is the title bacteria right there. Okay, so in your notes, the title bacteria should be written out there, okay? And basically, here's what I'm going to do. Check it out. Watch with me right now. This is just a general idea of this. In the textbook, this first paragraph has no heading. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a heading, and we're going to go Roman numeral 1, intro, info. Everybody with me on that? These green texts here, the bacterial cell, is going to end up being Roman numeral 2. Everybody with me on that? And then all this info and all this info is all going to be under Roman numeral 2. Okay? You guys with me on that? All right. So I'm going to actually back off of this. And I'll read the first paragraph, or we'll read it together. So Alexis, you can follow along here. It says, "You may not know it, but seconds after you were born, tiny organisms surrounded and invaded your body. Today, millions of these organisms coat your skin. As you read this page, they swarm inside your nose, throat, and mouth. In fact, there are more organisms living in your mouth than people on the earth." So, like I said, what I'm going to do is backtrack here. I'm going to scoot that way over here. And now I'm going to write down bacteria, Roman numeral 1, intro, info. And letter A, the first thing that it said was that bacteria are everywhere, didn't it? So I'm just going to write that out. Bacteria are everywhere. And then some examples that it gave of where bacteria are. I'm just going to use a dash, but you could use a plus, you could use a 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are places that they gave examples of? Mouth, throat, nose, where else? And you guys see where I'm getting that information from? So what you should be doing right now is going back and forth between your textbook and the page, and if you need to, look up front just to guide you a little bit. Okay? So now I'm going to keep reading. In fact, there are more organisms there than these organisms living in your mouth. I read that wrong. So there's more bacteria in your mouth than in the earth. Okay, so I'm going to say that. More in your mouth than people on the earth. Pay attention to how I wrote this second line. Look up here quick. See how it was straight below like this? That's how you want it to be. Okay? Now it said, you don't see or feel these organisms because they are very small. That's another idea. It's still about bacteria info, but is it about where they live? Not really, is it? Okay? I'm going to come back to that point. You cannot escape them. They are found nearly everywhere on Earth. In fact, soil, rocks, Arctic ice, volcanoes, and on all living things. So just because I knew this was going to happen, and I read the whole paragraph, I'm going to say Arctic ice, and I'm going to put volcanoes because that's cool to me. If you wanted to do something different, you certainly could. You guys with me? By the way, if you have this down, you don't have to listen to me. If you're further than me, keep going. All right, guys? If you're like, yeah, I got this. Just skip it. Okay? In letter B, I'm going to go back to what I saw about the being small. So I'm going to write in B, bacteria are very small. Kadok? All right, so there is that paragraph. That's done. That doesn't necessarily mean I start over again, but let's take a peek. Okay, so now the bacterial cell. That heading could go a couple different ways, couldn't it? Oops. What's one way the heading could go? Anybody want to show it? Want to guess? Okay, you could put it as a Roman numeral. Would you be wrong? Not necessarily. It's a new topic. You could put it as a letter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so you could go with C. But in this case, because it is that light blue color, we said it was going to be what? A Roman numeral. So we're going to put it as a Roman numeral. So Roman numeral 2, the bacterial cell. And then we'll read on. So read with me. Although there are many bacteria on Earth, they were not discovered until late 1600s. I read that sentence, and I know that that's not a big idea, so I'm stashing that in my brain. You guys with me? A Dutch businessman named Anton van Leeuwenhoek found them by accident. Leeuwenhoek had a rather unusual hobby, making microscopes. So I'm going to put bacterial cell in letter A, discovered by Anton van Leeuwenhoek. I don't know if I spelt that right or wrong.
There's 2 E's.
So pretty close. Okay, well, guess what? Does it matter in your notes? No, nobody's grading you on notes. Discovered by Anton van Leeuwenhoek, and I'm just going to put a dash in the 1600s. Used a microscope. Okay. Oh, I like this next sentence. Read with me. Okay. One day, while he was using one of his microscopes to look at scrapings from his teeth, he saw tiny organisms in the sample. So Anton Leeuwenhoek discovered bacteria by scraping his teeth. That's right. So discovered by looking at scrapings from his teeth. Boom. You know that fuzz that you get if you don't brush your teeth? That's bacteria. It's just bacteria growing on there. Plaque isn't that. It's down the road is what plaque is. But yeah, that leads to it. Okay. However, because his microscopes were not powerful, Leeuwenhoek could not see details inside these tiny organisms. Okay, we'll move on. If Leeuwenhoek had owned one of the high-powered microscopes in use today, he would have seen a single-celled organism that are known as bacteria in detail. What? What did that just say? Did anybody catch any good info there? Yeah, he said something about the power, but the big thing is they're single-celled. Bacteria are single-celled. So you remember when I said we're working on becoming better readers? You start focusing on the most important information there. I like you guys are going right from your notes to your book and looking ahead. Good. As you learned In chapter 1, the cells of bacteria differ from cells of other organisms in many ways. Bacteria are prokaryotes. The genetic material in their cells does not contain in a nucleus. So, letter C. What should I write for letter C? Bacterial, whoops. Whoop. Okay, to continue, keep reading. It says, the shape of the bacterial cell helps scientists identify the type of bacteria. For example, bacteria that cause strep throat are spherical. Figure 6 shows that stuff. Well, we already used that. Okay? And then looking ahead at cell structures, what heading should cell structures have, guys? It's purple letters. What should purple be? Huh? Correct. It should be letter E. So we write in letter E, cell structures. Okay. There's a picture of a cell on the next page. You might want to sketch that in your notes. And then if you look to the next page, 2 kingdoms of bacteria would be Roman numeral 2. Okay, everybody? So that is how to use outline notes taken from page 56 in your textbook. Good luck.